The Hilltop Glove Podcast is sponsored by Mid Carolina Service Company.
Mid Carolina Service Company is the first name to search for your residential or commercial HVAC needs in Lexington and surrounding areas.
Just go holler at Jason and Clint. They'll hook you up on the air conditioners, on the restaurant equipment, refrigerators, refrigeration, ice machine repair. They've been doing this for years. I know them cats forever.
Family owned and operated since 2006, they pride themselves in their quality work and customer relationships. Call 803-356-4153 or visit midcarolinaserviceco.com for a no obligation quote for service today.
This episode of the Hilltop Glove Podcast is powered by Catawba, the artist making waves with a sound that's bold, creative, and unmistakably universal. If you love music with flavor, edge, and personality, you need to lock in with her today. Hit cattypack.com to stream the music, watch visuals, and grab merch. That's cattypack.com. Don't play yourself, go run it up.
Welcome to the Hilltop Glove Podcast.
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 The Hilltop Glove Podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the Hilltop Glove Podcast. Today, we're excited to chat with Alex Osborn, an Indigenous artist, designer, and photographer whose work is rooted in storytelling. Drawn on family traditions, travel adventures, and everyday moments, Alex explores how people, places, and memories shape our sense of self. His art celebrates his Catawba heritage while inviting thoughtful conversation and deeper reflection. Starting in 2019, Alex spent several years helping to shape visual content for the Catawba Nation, creating photos, videos, graphics, and print pieces that help tell community stories. And all that stuff is dope, too, when I was doing research. I really like
Thank you.
I like that.
Thank you.
In 2021, he was one of the first contemporary artists in residence at the University of South Carolina Lancaster's Native American Studies Center, where he experimented with color and storytelling through his own artistic identity and style. These days, Alex works as a designer in a variety of applications, juggling a variety of projects that blend creativity, storytelling, and brand identities. In this episode, we'll dive into how Alex brings art and design together to craft eye-catching, story-driven visuals, and hear about the inspirations that keep his work fresh and meaningful. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Good.
Good to have you here today.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about how you got started in creative fields and the arts and kind of your life growing up that led you to that.
I feel like that's an armchair question from like therapy or something. It all began when I was a child.
Well, I guess you could start with like kind of your earlier exposures to art.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where I was going with that too.
Sweet.
I've given this a little thought, especially recently, having done the panel and a couple of conversations like this, and ever since I was a little kid, I was obsessed with cameras, and I've over my journey, I feel like that phrase is used a lot.
It's accurate.
I've gotten more into photography, but that photography is kind of what led me into everything else. Yeah. And I've been really lucky with that. I had this like little tiny 35 millimeter camera that was, it had a clear body, and I need to try to find one again. But just having a camera to take pictures, I wanted to play with my parents' camera. I wanted to, learn about all of that. And I learned how to develop film when I was in 5th grade.
Oh, so, cool.
Like, it started really early,
Oh, yeah.
And then whenever I got my first, like, adult job, so to speak, I bought a good camera with my first paycheck. So that was nice. And then it just kind of has grown over decades now. Feels weird to say. But over the years, it's just developed, and grown both as a person. That's helped me as a person, but also that's grown into other art forms, into design, into more quote unquote fine art. You know what I mean?
Right, right. It's all connected.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so it's all very, very interconnected for me, and I feel like I should be laying on a chaise lounge somewhere. I mean, it started when I was a kid, but it really did. My parents definitely allowed me to explore those things. They encouraged the expression of what I needed to feel and what I needed to to do, and I'm really, really grateful for that.
So with that said, so do your parents do they have an arts background?
Not explicitly.
Okay.
I would say that they're both creative people. My dad did art when he was younger, just in high school, and that's not to minimize that by any means, but
right. That's where we get a lot of exposure to art.
Exactly.
And then somebody's got to tell us that we can do it as adults to get past that.
And then my mom was around art a lot when she was growing up. My great grandfather on her side was a painter and a photographer.
Okay.
And then my dad was always into cameras and photography too. Okay. And then culturally, art and the arts have just been part of our lives generationally, both on my mom's side, but also on my dad's side. And so I think that kind of comes together into a culmination of what I do, Yeah.
Neat.
Excellent. So you have any siblings, or?
I have 2 brothers.
How was that? Older, younger?
Younger.
Oh, so you're okay.
I'm the bossy one. I'd be curious to hear what they think now that I think about it. I'm the only one that's really in a creative field per se, though. Mm-hmm. My dad is a mechanic and has been my entire life.
Okay.
And our middle brother, we're all boys. Our middle brother inherited more of that working with his hands thing, which I still think is creative, but it's much more mechanically minded.
Sure.
And then my youngest brother works in computers, so technology. So we're all we're each 4 years apart, so we're all our own people. If you saw us initially, you wouldn't guess that we're all related. But it makes for a pretty cool conversation around we're all our own individual people, and it's really neat.
Neat.
Yeah.
So one of the questions I have for you, and this kind of goes back to even when first time I got to see you at the State Museum at the panel. I'm back at the Artist Homecoming, art history. So history and art have a symbolic relationship where art acts as a primary source of understanding. And it can serve as a historical context. It's crucial to interpreting art. As a creative person, can you explain the importance of incorporating history into artwork to show symbolism and reverence to our ancestors?
I love this question. And I think...
Good shot.
Yeah, thank you. And the way that I like to think about it may or may not be... easy to predict or predictable. That's the word I was looking for. I think that all art tells a story. Everything we do in art, at least for me, tells a story.
Sure.
And if you go back 1,000 years, when people were making something, whether it be a pot or whether it be a painting or a variety of different crafts, and I use that word carefully.
Mm-hmm. Right.
There was a story to go along with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was actually in my residency at the Native American Studies Center that I realized kind of this overarching theme in that history is about telling stories, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So when I make a piece, it is to tell a story, whether it be what I feel about that day or whether it be I really like these colors, whether it be I'm trying to communicate a message, whether that be protest or whether that be, this is a relevant part of my life. There's so many different aspects of ways to communicate through art. Mm-hmm. And I think that history is just looking at the stories that people have told and that comes into art as well. So when somebody makes a pot or a painting or whatever, you know, someone was capturing a landscape, somebody was capturing a photo, someone was, you know, memorializing someone's image. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
It's all about storytelling for me. And
It's a
so
conversation that the past is having with us.
exactly.
That's awesome.
And when I go to art museums, which I weirdly love to do, like there's something ironic about that. I am grateful for the opportunity to reflect on what the stories people might be trying to tell me, or to tell us, you know, or to. We all sometimes interpret those stories differently, which can get really complex, right? Yeah. But I think it can be neat to see what that looks like, and that is part of my fascination with it.
That's awesome. So tell us about your snakes.
Can we clip that?
Yes, absolutely. You got some reoccurring themes with snakes going on in
yeah. Work. It's funny because I think when I got the interview questions list, it was a reminder of how much that's become a theme in my work. So, am I allowed to ask a question back?
Absolutely. Yeah.
When you see snakes in art, for instance, what do y'all think of?
Oh, it's a knowledge creature. It's wisdom, and you know. But then there's also the old biblical Garden of Eden thing. But I think I go first to like it's a symbol of knowledge kind of thing.
Cool. Very cool.
I think for me, man, I think about snake. I think about time.
Oh, good.
I think about time because, like I said, the snake is like, you know, especially mortality.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you have the head and you have the tail, right? There's there's nothing more symbolic than that, right?
Yeah.
In so many ways. And so I just think about time.
Look, that was inspiring. Thank you for that. So historically, the Catawba people have looked on snakes as a different sort of symbol. And in some ways, Native American history gets pretty complex in a lot. So I want to first, have a disclaimer that really I share this only from my perspective. I can't speak for anybody. I can't speak for my tribe. I can't speak for anything. That's a fun discussion too, let me tell you. But with snakes, we became known for liking black snakes, and so a black snake became a symbol for us, specifically king snakes and like black garden snakes, because they would protect you from copperheads. They would protect you from other like vermin that were in your garden, so to speak. And so they became a very positive symbol. We also would tattoo black snakes on the backs of our warriors. It would go like across their shoulder blade, down their back. And so if you look at like academia, it became a symbol of power and protection, and a couple other things. But for me, in my work, I feel like I've done a couple of things differently, and I was actually thinking about this as a result of the question. A couple of things you'll see is that I normally paint them as blue instead of black, and that's because I think that blue kind of shows them a little bit differently. I also wanted to show the vibrancy, because if you look at a black snake, there's a lot of different colors in it.
It's like a crow almost.
Almost.
Yeah.
And that became super relevant for me because as part of the LGBT community, like I wanted, not only was that already a symbol of like Catawba identity, that I wanted to like show that as a symbol of, I don't want to be so bold as to say my identity, but like a collective, this represents us. And I think that just looks, I wanted to show some variation in that because that can look different for everybody, even within our tribe, that can look different for everybody. So I guess all of that to say is that historically it's been power and protection. We've even sculpted them around pots. So if you'll see snake pots are a popular feature in Catawba pottery. And the lore, there's debate on it, but the lore is that it was protecting the contents. So
that makes sense.
So it's become, for me, a symbol of like power, protection, but also somewhat of identity. And whenever I paint the snake in different works, often I'm trying to allude to both the identity as a Catawba person, but also like what that might mean within the context of the story I'm telling.
Yeah.
So, I did a mural in Lancaster, South Carolina, and it's viewable on my website. It's part of their greenway.
Okay.
And there's a giant snake on one side. It's on a underpass, and it's kind of slithering or crawling or whatever the word might be from the land into the river.
That's awesome.
And so that mural was meant to be like how a community can move forward together and progress, hopefully to better things, you know?
Yeah.
And I was inspired by like the movement of like, this is one piece of the environment. This is one piece of the community or the collective. And it was moving into the river, which is a huge symbol for change, you know? So, you know, by it moving, like maybe we can move smoothly or maybe we can move together, you know, like that's kind of where I was going with that. So.
Excellent. Awesome.
Tell us a little bit about your process.
Yeah.
That's a hard one.
I know. It's always hard for everybody.
A number of things come to mind with that. One is that, like, as artists, and you know, all of us are creators in some way in this room, right? There's an element of we're just doing what we're doing,
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like, to really drill down on what the process looks like overall is hard sometimes. I think that for me, the process looks different depending on what I'm trying to do. I've gotten into I've got my hands in a couple of different pies.
Right.
So when I'm doing work for myself, like something in my own sketchbook or, you know, maybe more on the fine art side of things, it could be anything. It could be I'm inspired by something that I experienced. It could be sometimes it's very therapeutic for me. So sometimes I make pieces based on the emotions that I'm feeling. When I get into design, though, it's a lot more structured.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so
Purpose and a
there's
task, and you got to do it.
Yeah. And it's got to fit a set of rules.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It might need to work for print. It might need to work for web. It might need to work for a couple of different things. And then photography, it's what moment am I trying to capture?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so like if I'm at an event, are we trying to catch specific things? If I'm, you know, doing a photo shoot for another project, the thing that I've really coming to my process specifically, I think, is I like to think about how all of those fit together. So can I paint on a photo? Can I incorporate brushstrokes into this design in a way that's not going to be terrible? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
can I tell a story with this geometric thing, but also like maintain an element of organic development? You know what I mean? So like it really, I like to address every process for the moment and for the project. And start to finish, that looks different every time.
Okay. So, next question. What is that like when you're, because with the different, you know, you got your fine art, you got your photography. What is it like finishing up pieces when you're trying to make deadlines?
A challenge.
And is there a difference between the styles?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So for my day job, I am pretty specifically an environmental graphic designer.
Okay.
And what we do is we design, it usually has to do with like wayfinding and navigating through a space, specifically within architectural spaces. So that looks like signage in a building. That looks like decorations that might revolve around specific brands or murals or things like that. And that is one of the most regimented forms of design that I do because you have clients that are meeting deadlines. You have, you have to, ADA comes into play. Yeah. So you have to meet certain requirements. And when people build skyscrapers or different buildings, you have to have signage that meets those requirements.
Yep.
So I'm, you know, that whole phrase of like, do something you love and you never work a day in your life. Cheesily kind of comes into play a little bit because I really, really enjoy that.
Okay.
I enjoy that I'm not the only one trying to keep the timetable. I also enjoy that we're working as a team to accomplish something, you know, outside of day job, so to speak. That time frame can look a lot more flexible. If I'm making for myself, there isn't always a timeline, you know? If I'm doing things freelance, then learning to project manage is definitely a challenge sometimes. But I try to be as regimented as I can to meet whatever the client needs, you know.
Have you picked up any tips or tricks along the way over the years?
I've learned that I hate paper.
Really?
And I'm saying that, you know, tongue in cheek a little bit. Because something about my brain, if you hand me a sheet of paper, it folds into a bunch of different pieces and then it goes into the ether. It's gone forever. So I've really learned to rely on digital tools. And there's like to scream at you if you are late. Exactly. You know? So that helps me a lot. But I think just relying on the team in the moment, you know, whether that be the client that I'm working with, whether that be relying on the technological friends that I have. I try to keep it straight through keeping a better calendar and through, you know, setting reminders for myself, sending my emails, having a paper trail. I think paper trail is probably the biggest piece because then I can look back and see what I have and haven't done, and that's really saved my hide so many times.
Proper project management.
Exactly.
And I'm pretty sure, like you said, and you just mentioned, it's much easier at the 9 to 5 because, you know, there's folks that are that's their role, right? It's keeping everybody on time. As opposed to maybe outside or even maybe like independent, like commission work. It's a little more of a challenge. Okay.
Absolutely.
So one of the things that we did want to ask you about, because so much of what you do revolves around technology. So what are some of what type of software do you use when you're working on your projects?
I use a handful of softwares. So I use the Adobe suite. I'm gonna be real. I'm pretty frustrated with Adobe.
Really? Is it because it pops up with an AI message every 5 minutes?
Man, I've been using Adobe for well over a decade. And every update.
Hey, let us show you something new.
Let's show you something new. Or like, hey, did you know? And I'm like, yes, I knew that like 5 years ago.
Why did we decide that pop-ups were like the way to get information out to people? Like I thought we kind of unanimously agreed we hated pop-ups, and then they started coming up everywhere.
Because it was the paperclip. You remember? That's it.
That's that damn paperclip.
So that was part of it, but let me tell you, there's a psychology thing to it too.
Okay.
Because like, if it interrupts your thought process as you're doing something, then you're going to pay it more attention. It catches your eye, you know? And so, like, being on the other side of marketing for a minute at the Tribe, we had to think about, like, how are we going to get people's attention? And it comes back to capitalism, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say I've never made a pop-up, but
no, for sure. I get that same. It's just, I think seeing how the pudding's made sort of makes you think about like how we're inundated with that all the time. And that's maybe more frustrating than not.
Sure.
I think I don't want to like hate on AI too much because that's an ongoing, very nuanced conversation.
Sure.
But I think as a creator of art, there's a lot to talk about with that right now, and I think that that's contributing to my frustration with Adobe too, because it's hard to navigate all of it. You know what I mean?
So who's coming for Adobe?
What?
Who's coming for Adobe? Who do you use when you're frustrated with Adobe?
Nobody right now.
Same.
But I am researching. So I've got my eyes on a couple of different people, but Adobe's still the industry standard, so
right.
Adobe don't hate me. So I still use Adobe products at my day job. I still use Adobe products for freelance work and things like that. but outside of that, I primarily use Procreate.
Oh.
So Procreate for the iPad is what I like to use technology-wise.
Yeah.
If I'm doing, physical things, that obviously doesn't apply. But I use an iPad. And growing up, I got a Wacom tablet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I got one sitting on my desk right now.
I still love it. Love it. But I specifically remember I had saved up and I bought an Intuos 4 Wacom tablet, and that was like a dream. It's like saving up for a car or something back then, right? And I used that for a few years, and then the pen broke. And in my whatever logic that is, I was like, that's it. And so
got to buy an iPad.
Right. So I went and got an iPad. I went and got the pencil, which had just come out. Yeah. And that literally revolutionized how I make
Really?
it. Yes.
So like the time lapses and stuff on your website, that's how you get those?
Yep, through Procreate.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Yep.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So with that said, especially that even with technology, what style art do you think you gravitate towards more?
Oh, that's a loaded question. I think that's the most loaded.
Yeah, does it fluctuate or?
It does. I recently decided that I want to learn Japanese.
Okay.
Oh, fun.
And so I'm currently exploring influences from that part of the world.
Okay.
I love, I don't want to say any and all of it, but kind of any and all of it. You know what I mean? I love, because it comes back to the stories.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
comes back to the stories that people tell. And obviously there are things that visually I'm attuned to or I'm attracted to, but there's something so human about different styles,
Yeah.
And another one, speaking of the board or the panel, was Keith Haring is definitely an influence for me.
Yeah,
Maybe not visually, but just
I can see that. I can see it. When I think about your work, I can see that.
Thank you.
Especially with the work, like I said, I've seen on the Catawba Nation site. I can see a lot of that with the lines.
I think, and not just the line work, I think more the symbolism and how he used symbolism. He people who I've heard speak, and I can't name any names, sorry, but talk about how he kind of developed a visual language, which is very designerly, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he used those symbols in his work over and over and over, and intentionally or not, that's kind of how mine is going, and I would actually like to take more influence from him. But I love watercolor, I love inks, so I love very organic forms, but I also really love structure. So mixing those two is kind of what I have become obsessed with. I also had the chance. I'm wearing a T-shirt.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
This was neat because, and it's kind of kicked off a whole thing for me too, because it was, I had the opportunity to make the poster or some of the graphics for the arts and drafts program at the Columbia Museum of Art.
Yeah.
And this one was particularly around Alexander McQueen. So they had an Alexander McQueen exhibit, which was phenomenal.
It was a really good exhibit.
When I tell you, and this is not sponsored, by, obviously, and sponsored, asked for, whatever, the Columbia Museum of Art is so underrated in terms of the quality of everything that they put out. I absolutely live for it. So I was fortunate enough to work with them on this design. And what inspired it was not only Alexander McQueen's work, because I've been obsessed with his work for a long time. Yeah. But what would that look like if it was Catawba? So then I started playing with certain textures, certain symmetries, and making symmetrical work has been kind of an obsession of mine lately. That led into kind of Rorschach prints, which are those ink blots, right. Things like that. Yeah. And that it's a rabbit hole I'm still falling in.
It happens sometimes.
And I'm very open to it, so I'm excited to see where it goes more, hopefully.
Excellent. Let me see what else I wanted to ask. There was something else I wanted to ask you about. So, over time, of course, we know you said like your interests fluctuate, but how has your love for creating art changed? Because I know a lot of times when people are creatives and they work and they do it for a living.
Yeah,
it's like it becomes less of a love and more of a chore.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And they're good at it, but it doesn't mean that they're passionate about it.
Yep.
Right. So how has that changed? How has that impacted you?
We were actually talking about this before we started recording. I know a lot of people, close friends, best friends that experienced some level of tired. You know what I mean? From making art.
Creative burnout.
Creative burnout. Or they put everything into it, and it's hard to keep that going. And I've been in places in previous day jobs and previous projects and previous all of these things where I didn't have the energy. I didn't have the energy to make. I make with a capital M. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't keep it going on the level that I wanted to. Mm-hmm. And
you can always produce.
Yes.
But it's a little different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you're just like, you're producing. You're not making things with your whole heart in it, you know? Yeah. And after, working through some stuff, I kind of realized that there's different energies that you assign to different things. And so I try to be very careful now on how much energy am I giving a specific project. You know, like I and many other artists put a lot of ourselves into our work. Mm-hmm. And when you put your whole self into something, you have to recover from that. Yeah. You have to give yourself... my therapist would be proud of me saying you have to give yourself some grace afterwards. You know what I mean? Uh-huh. Or you have to balance out what that looks like. So now I'm very picky about the projects that I take. My day job does take a lot of creative energy, but it's different creative energy. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's work. I can kind of lean. There are projects there that I make, but then there are projects there that I also produce. You know what I mean? In the sense of just like we just have to get that one off the list.
Right. Happens.
And so with that said, you kind of answered the next question we were going to ask you. But outside of art, so what do you do? Like, what are some of the things that you do outside that give you enjoyment, bring balance?
I love music. Mm-hmm. I started playing instruments when I was a kid. Okay. I don't really anymore. I have some nerve problems in my hands, so that kind of puts a damper on that in some ways. But I do love listening to music. Okay. I enjoy seeing other art, so I enjoy seeing what other people have made and spending time with friends. Love movies. Mm-hmm. My partner is an actor, and he's very into the arts as well, you know, and so like we try to participate as much as we can. Awesome. But I think that's a funny thing coming from what we were talking about is that sometimes when I'm burnt out on making art, seeing other people make art can like refuel
absolutely
some of what that is, you know.
Yeah. So what's next for you? What projects you got in the works? I was thinking about this earlier. I don't have anything specific I want to shout out, you know? Yeah.
I just want to take as much as I can. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
But I also want to take my time. I think it's, we live in a really hard time right now. Mm-hmm. And that tends to drain me. That tends to drain all of us of like feeling exuberant and creative and really want to put things out there. But I am grateful for the opportunities that other people have given me. So I think that just looking forward to that and seeing what I can do to work with people and help people as much as I can. Yeah. But also like if I can ever provide those opportunities to someone else, whether that be being a mentor for somebody or something like that, then that's kind of where I'd like to go, I think.
Okay.
Very broad strokes there.
No, community collaboration is where it's at. Yeah, we totally believe in that.
Yeah. And so with that said, what can we do to support you?
I was thinking about this. If you want to work with me,
Okay.
you can reach out to me on my website. I think, though, is that my camera?
Shameless plug.
Yeah, that's
If you want to work with me, you can reach out to my website. But I'm going to be honest, I'm very fortunate.
Okay.
I am not loaded or rich or anything, but I have the things I need. Okay. I have a good day job that I'm really grateful for. I have space to make art in the ways that I want to.
Yeah.
And we can always use a little more, right? But just given the climate of everything right now, I think that there's a lot of people that could use more support than I can.
Yeah.
So support me by supporting the communities that need it. You know, we collectively, being in minorities and being in different groups, can see some of the pain that other communities experience and are experiencing now. And I don't want to get emotional, but I think that that's higher on the priority than working with somebody like me. So,
You want to give a shout out for your socials and your
I'm
URLs and
everywhere. I'm Tanaka Alex,
Yep.
TANAKE, Alex. And that's tanakaalex.com or Tanaka Alex on Instagram.
Awesome.
excellent.
Yes. Well, Alex, it was definitely a pleasure having you as a guest.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Like I said, definitely learned a lot. Like I said, a couple weeks ago, well, the reason this interview came to being, a couple weeks ago, I was invited to the Artist Homecoming at South Carolina State Museum, and you were you were one of the panel members for a panel discussion on Native art.
Yep.
And I thought it was really cool. And I think the thing that intrigued me the most was just the conversation that you were having with, which I found out was a good friend of yours.
Yes.
Didn't see like it.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
But talking about, just embracing the past, but also at the same time, celebrating contemporary art and looking forward to the future.
Yeah.
And
I think, just to comment on that. Perspective informs a lot of what we do.
Yeah.
And he's a really good friend of mine.
Yeah.
But we also grew up in different places. We grew up with different perspectives. And I think that was a highlight of how those different perspectives informs our opinions.
Yes.
I hope that it wasn't too rough of an interaction, but I enjoyed that panel a lot for that reason, So.
It was awesome. Like I said, it was a great way for us to learn and connect. And one of the things we always try to do, especially with the Hilltop Glove, is we try to intentionally reach outside of our community, because for us, it's so easy just to talk to people that are just in our immediate community, even though we're geared towards talking to creatives and creative entrepreneurs, of course, people within arts. Sometimes just by the nature of what we do, we can just we close our eyes up to certain perspectives or certain communities.
Yep.
And so that's one of the things that moving forward, we definitely want to be more mindful about and more intentional on.
Yep.
And so that's why it was great for, like I said, for the Natty event and for us to be able to connect with you.
Yes, thank you.
So we're definitely honored to have you as a guest. And if you know anybody who you think would be an awesome guest, let us know. Now we're connected.
Yeah. I would love to introdice you to Aaron if you're open to it.
Yeah,
I think it'd be neat to have him on too.
I have to now. Got to. We definitely have to. But with that said, one of the things I do want to do is I want to give a shout out.
Yes. This beautiful space we're in.
Yes.
Asylum Digital Recording and Mixing Studio.
Yes. Located at 226 Westinghouse Boulevard, Suite 304 in Charlotte, North Carolina. If you need to record, if you need to mix, master, if you need to record, you need to mix, master, this is the place to go in the Charlotte area. Like I said, Scott and team, they're amazing at what they do. They do quality work. Also, this is where we record. And you, obviously, if you like our stuff, Yeah, you need to come here.
Look at this is a great spot for live music. There's a theremin over there in the corner. I don't know.
What?
I'm just fascinated by theremins. This is a great space.
Yes.
We love being up here.
Yep. So if you want to do analog, you want to do digital, they do all that here. As far as I'm contacting them, all you got to do, I'm giving them a call at 704-492-9289, or you can check out their website at asylumdigital.com. With that said, Skip, this
Mike.
back.
DJ what?
Tamaya.
Yeah. And this is the latest episode of Hilltop Glove Podcast. Oh, and our guest, Alex Osborn.
Alex Osborne.
Yes. With that said, what does Osborn usually say? He says the whole thing about
Tell somebody you love them.
And you care about them.
And you
Yes.
care about them.
And you love them. Until next time.
Till next
next
time.
time. Peace.
The Hilltop Girl Podcast.